What's going on, guys? Today I have a special guest here on the channel, and I'm interviewing a good friend and a client that is absolutely crushing it with his Amazon business. I've got Dominique Bradley. Now, Dominique has already been crushing it in business and other things that he's already doing. He does some trading. However, he knew that he wanted to diversify and get something started, build a brand that was going to work for him and generate income 24/7, 365. He tapped in with us and launched his brand literally a little over 90 days ago. And in the last 90 days, he's done approximately $19,000 in sales. So I'm super excited for him. I'm super happy and grateful to know him as a friend and to have him as a client. And the whole purpose of this interview style conversation is I'm going to be having a convo with Dominique, and we're going to be finding out a little bit about how he got started and a little bit of tips about how he built his business, and hopefully you guys can get some massive game. So without further ado, Dominique, how you feeling, man?
It's amazing to be over here, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome, man. I know we talked about doing this, and some stuff went back and forth. We had Thanksgiving, and now we've got Christmas going on, and you're super busy with everything that's going on. But if you just want to start with an introduction, like tell us a little bit about yourself briefly, how you decided to get started with this business model or learned about this business model, or even us and the AMZ formula.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I used to play college basketball, so I was a college athlete before, and I graduated in 2020 during that whole COVID craziness. And I got relocated from my job that I was working at, and I was already investing, like long-term investing, trying to learn how to trade. And I stumbled across EYL. I was always watching them diligently, and then I saw a crazy thumbnail said people are making millions of dollars on Amazon every single day. And I was just like, let me click on this video and see what's going on. And I saw you with Rashad and Troy, and you were just kind of breaking down your model and what you did and your success. And then for me, I was like, that sounds cool, but it sounds too good to be true. Let me do some more due diligence on this guy. Like, let me find some research. Let me find the good things. Let me see if there's any bad things that people are saying. And then the next podcast that really won me over was the David Shands one on social proof. When you kind of just gave your whole entire story and you were just giving out all those gems and bars, I just had like a real realization. I was just like, this could probably work if I did it. Like, it's just like anything. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna have the roads, but it's gonna have its own like path and like bumpy roads. But like, it's like, what's the other side of risk if you don't take it? Just the same thing that you already been doing. Like, for me and me being younger at the time, like I started learning about you like when I was 24. I'm 26 now. So it's like for me, it was like if I want to take this risk now, it's probably better to do that at an early age so I can at least learn and just, at least start getting stuff moving. So that's initially how I started with you guys. Like I think it was like in 2021.
No, that's solid. That's good. So shout out to Rashad and Troy at EYL. Shout out to David Shands at Social Proof, both incredibly good podcasts. They talk a lot about financial literacy, talk a lot about finances, investing in different businesses. So shout out to those guys. And that's dope. I really commend you for even at an early age. And guys, I don't want that to go over your head if you're listening, like Dominique being 22 and investing his time into himself. A lot of people say, well, Josh, I may not have a lot of money right now. What should I be doing? It doesn't cost any money to listen to any of these podcasts. So regardless of where you are right now, I often say your current situation is not your final destination, and what entertains you trains you. So constantly be investing your time into yourself. So when you can invest in yourself, you know exactly what to do. So I didn't want that bar that Dominique dropped to go over your guys' head. Number two, man, second question around challenges and support. Like, what challenges did you face with setting up the business or in the initial stages of the business or even so far with running the business? And how do you feel like what we've done at the AMZ formula, or what you've learned and what we've implemented has helped?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think the first thing to get started was just like really just trying to figure things out. Like this is a legitimate business. This isn't like something that, I'm going to be selling in the back of my car, knocking on doors. Like I had to get an LLC, I had to get a domain, I had to get a PO box. Like in order for me to get funding for these business lines of credit, I got to look as legitimate as possible. I can't be Dominic Bradley at yahoo.com. Like I had to
Right.
be, like completely legit. So in order to look legit, you had to be legit. So it was just, I think just getting that stuff started and really too, like, luckily I had like your team to help me guide me through on what's like the next steps. But I think it's just like, it's like that over analysis paralysis. I think you say sometimes where it's just like there's just so much stuff in front of you And it's like you can either try to execute and just try to knock out something every single day, or you look at all of it, you get overwhelmed, and you don't end up doing anything. So one thing that I just try to do is just like, let me start my LLC today. Let me apply for a business line of credit. Let me create an email. Let me create a PO. Like, let me just do the small little things so I can just make an inch every single day, and eventually I got a foot. So it was just doing small things like that in the beginning part. But in regards of now, like opening up the business, some of the challenges, not really challenges, but just the things that are now going to be overcoming is just scaling. I wasn't anticipating to already be at night almost $20,000 in a matter of 3 months. So it's like now I got to get ready for more inventory to purchase. So it's like now I got to find more funds for it. I got to maybe leverage more credit or take some things out of savings and stuff. So it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes because it's just these big decisions and there's just a lot of other expenses that go along other than just business. But it's just that feeling you have in your stomach, like it's a good feeling. It's the same way I did when I wired the money over to the team for the automated store. You send that money, you know it's going to the team, but you have that little nervousness in your chest, like, oh my God, is it going to go through? Am I doing the right thing? So it's just
Right.
trying to overcome that, and also too to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who understand the process. Like, I can't tell people who don't have a good mindset what I'm doing because they're going to be like, why do you want to do that? Like, why do you
Mm,
want to waste your money? That's a scam. And another reason I gotta want to fall back to that first question you asked, another reason why I was really adamant on wanting to be a part of your team, you weren't just barely coming out of the cracks in 2020. You had the receipts. Before I even knew about the automated store,
it's
I
a
went to your
fact.
YouTube channel and I saw YouTube like videos from like 2014 that had like 200 views. And
Yeah.
I was just weekend after weekend I was just watching videos because initially I thought I was going to be doing everything. So I wanted to learn like Jungle Scout, all this other stuff. But then when I knew that you offered the automated store, I was just like, this may cost more. However, I would rather be hands off and give it to the team and have that they have my best interest and I can just be the one, like maintaining and like supplying the capital and just really being more of the investor instead of the one that's hands on because I mean I have a full-time job of what I'm doing. So it's just like for me, like I know how much effort and like process it has to be to put all this effort into it. I just wanted to almost just put it with a team that I trust. And I saw that you were there like in 2013, 2014. You're a pioneer. So I was like, if you're still here and you're still standing, like, why would I want to go to someone who may show something a little more flashy, but he's been in the game for less than 2 years? It's like, you're only
Right.
in here now because it's hot. Like, were you here when no one was even talking about it? So that's
Mm.
what made me want to go over there for sure.
Man, that's good. You're going crazy. You dropped so many bars right there. Like one of them at the beginning of your answer, like that may go over a lot of people's heads, is you talked about leveraging OPM, which is other people's money. And I'm often telling people because it's easy to hear like if you lack resources to become resourceful, but when it comes time to, like you mentioned, actually pulling the trigger or leveraging credit or getting a loan or accessing savings or using credit cards, so on and so forth, that's when people get cold feet. So if you could just talk quickly or briefly about possibly like how you leveraged OPM or what you did, I think too many people aren't using that and they just feel like, hey, like we all have this scarcity 1960s mentality where it's like if we don't have the money to start it or we don't have the money to lose if it doesn't go right, we're just not going to do it, right? And then you said like, a lot of people like you couldn't share what you were doing with other people, maybe even friends or family members or colleagues, because if you share your large dreams with small-minded people, they're going to be looking at you crazy, right? And that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was sharing my large dreams with small-minded people, because when I told people that I wanted to start on Amazon, these are family members. These are people that I worked with, my friends, people that I looked up to. And just because you have a relationship with somebody, that does not mean that you should have a relationship with them around financial literacy or around business building, right? And I think that's a big issue that a lot of people have is they don't have, like their relationships are one broad relationship. We're going to talk about relationships, we're going to talk about the economy, we're going to talk about investing. However, there's an old saying, and it's a funny one, that you wouldn't ask for marriage advice from your divorced uncle, right? So why would you be sharing information and business plans to become a millionaire or to get to the bag with someone who doesn't have the bag or isn't a millionaire, right? So just quickly, if you can hit on how you leveraged OPM to get started, because I know you said something which I want to commend you and congratulate you. You leveraged OPM and then you knocked it out before the store was even started, before your brand was even up, if I'm recollect correctly. And now it's
Yeah.
like you can weather this storm and take the time required to really build the brand and make sure that the brand is strong. Add more inventory, add more SKUs, get into the influencer marketing, get into PPC. So talk a little bit about that. I think the people will get a lot of value from that.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, like you said, OPM, other people's money. You had, like I said, I had to open up the LLC. I had to look as legitimate as possible because if I go to Chase or these big banks, not like these regional banks, but like these big banks, they're gonna want to look for legitimacy. Like for me, I was looking for like, credit lines of like $10,000 to $20,000. I wasn't looking for 3 to 5 because that's not gonna help me. So for me, like the biggest thing for me was just trying to make sure that I just was applying. I was looking as professional as possible, and I was just showing also too like that I had relationships in the past with some of my other banks that I had. Like so, the banking that I have right now, I used to have a car loan through them, paid that off like when I was younger. So like it shows that I had credibility and they could trust me and I've been a client for them. So one thing I would really recommend is, first of all, if you're looking for OPM and business lines of credit, before you go to these really big banks and stuff, try your local banks. Try the local banks that you're already accustomed to in your area to see if they'll do something because that's what worked out for me. And like Josh said, I had my store, I paid my store off, and due to COVID, there was just a lot of things that were out of my control. There was, there was delays with manufacturing. We were trying to find the product. We found a different supplier, and the Chinese New Year, the COVID, like COVID for them versus us is just two different things. So like when they shut down, they shut down. There's no workaround. So like, for me, I opened the store. I paid the store in 2021, late 21 in October. And like you said, I just barely started in September. As frustrating as that could be for a lot of people, I use that to my advantage. That way, I could actually pay my debt off from that store. So when I met Josh in April in Austin, I had an opportunity to speak with him, and I told him I was like, this might have been the best blessing in disguise because it gave me the opportunity to actually pay everything off. So when the store goes live, you're still gonna have to take money out. It's a given. It's in order to make money, you got to spend money. Like the earlier we know that, the sooner you know that, the better. And that gave me the opportunity, to throughout that year and a half, almost 2 years before the store went live, it gave me the opportunity to pay everything off. So I was almost at a clean slate by the time, inventory and PPC went live. So like I even told him too, I was like, if everything would have started initially and it was just fast, 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 it would have put me in a huge hole. But then B also too, I feel like it wouldn't have made me appreciate this business as much as I do now because it gave me that, that delayed gratification. But then also too, just like the time, the effort, the consistency, the worry, the thinking like, oh my God, like the store hasn't launched in a year. Like, did I do the right thing? But just staying adamant, communicating with you, communicating with the team, communicating with Marcellus, being around people who either been through it and can guide you through it. Because if you just start you know, like just kind of energy dumping on people who don't even know anything about the business, they're just going to try to come for you because they care about you. And they're just going to say, what are you doing? This is a scam. Instead of just like, understand that this is a process. Like Nipsey Hussle said, it's a marathon. It's never a sprint. And it's just, if this is something that you're going to have down the line and this is something that you want to, envision and have 5, 10 years and maybe want to sell this business, you're going to have to weather the storm because nothing's ever going to be a straight line.
Wow, that's good. So I know we talked a little bit at the beginning, and we've mentioned about, being live for 90 days, generating 19K approximately in revenue. Like, let's talk about the growth and results because I think a lot of people give up. Like, and I love the analogy of the picture of someone who's got the pickaxe and they're in the mine and they're mining for the diamonds, and the one person's turning away, getting ready to give up, and the other person's literally breaking through that barrier and getting the desirable outcome, which for the miner is the gold and diamonds. And you said, like, yes, it took longer than you would have liked, but once things hit and once the traction started, it happened quickly, right? And that's how success is. It never comes when we want it. It never comes as fast as we want it. Like, again, full transparency. But when it happens, especially in this industry. So talk about the growth and like the results in like the last 90 days of you being live. Like, how did that happen? Like, how did that feel? Like, and when you're going on your app and you're refreshing and you're seeing the sales come in, like, how did that feel? And like, how fast did things move? Like, once you were up and running?
No, yeah, for sure. It kind of remind me of like, checking my phone, the stock market just to see like my gains and stuff. So like, we went live we didn't start the PPC yet just because we wanted to wait for a full month to start so we can get the full like payment for everything. And like you first go live, and it's like, oh my God, it's finally here, it's real. And then you reached out to me, you gave me some gems. I don't want to give it out too much for free because that's some real information out there. But you gave me a play, and I ran with it, and it ended up giving me a lot of traction and more eyes on the product, and it just really gave me a good perspective of knowing that like this stuff actually works, but then also too, it's like it just makes you understand like holy smokes, like if I have more inventory, I can only imagine how much I can scale. Like last month in November,
Wow.
I hit 10K, and then you sent me that note and you were like, send me your address. And then literally in a
Oh
matter of
man, you got the award, the 10K award. I know it's hard to see, it's clear, it's see-through, but that thing is fire, man. No, I'm just saying there's something about tangible, like just having something. Like I love awards, so that's a special moment, man.
No, yeah, and then also too, it just makes you realize too that you're with a team who actually cares and wants you to win. I mean, like you said, I went to Austin, I met the whole team. It's one thing, messaging people and just having that online communication and relationship, but being able to meet you, meet your wife, meet Eileen, John, Eros, Marcel, like that was amazing. And it was just really cool to like really give me the perspective and understanding that this is real. Like this isn't fake and this is not a facade. It's completely real. And it's crazy. Like I think I DM'd you like when I first bought the store. I gotta go find the DM, but I was just like, hi, my name's Dominique Bradley. You don't know me yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be your next client, like your next client that succeeds. And like
Mm,
just putting that into the universe in 21, and now like being
mm,
here and just seeing what's only happened in the first 3 months, it motivates me and it excites me just to see what's going to happen down the line. Because I mean, I understand, the first year to 3 years, you'll probably take some stuff home, but everything's going to have to get reinvested into the business. Because if you want to profit, you just want to take all that money initially for yourself, you're not seeing the bigger picture and you're not going to scale. But like this is something that I want to use as a tool to pay for an asset of mine. Like I want this to buy my time back. Like if I can have this to pay off like rent, mortgage, that's a bill that I don't have to have that I can focus into other things. Or even two, like doubling back down and buying another product and having two stores. Like it's just
mm.
this you just get this gave me an opportunity to see something more than what I was accustomed to. And like in the area that I grew up, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, but I mean the area that I was, there's not a lot of people who are doing this or thinking for self. It's all about,
Wow.
keeping up with the Jones or just like, buying stuff to flex. Like no one's flexing their assets in my area. And that's just one thing that I
Mm,
wanted to do to show that, it's entirely possible.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, and I can't wait. We're already planning the next one in 24, so we'll definitely hook up again. I think the event in 24 is going to be bigger and even better, so excited about that. Talk a little bit about your favorite aspect of the business. Like you just talked about, like you just said something crucial, like how too many people are flexing and worried about keeping up with the Joneses and so on and so forth. No one's really focusing on the future. And it's like me, I've been an entrepreneur since 2015. I had massive success in 2016. That's when I became a millionaire. So we're now in 2023. I'm getting older. Last week on the 11th was my birthday. I'm now 34. And now everybody who knows me closely, family and friends, see a significant shift where I have this decentralization, or desensitization around materialistic items or around anything like that. Like you mentioned earlier, one of the things you liked is, I'm big on receipts. I'm big on actually teaching. Like I care about the quality of the information we put out there. Like I rent a studio. I don't need to rent a studio. I've been putting content out. Like you talk about the videos from 2016, 17. I don't talk like this. I don't look like this. They're boring. There's 100 views. And we've been putting out content every single week for years. It's not the largest channel, but it's the largest library of content because that's what I care about. But it's crazy, like when you talk about that, like you want to have assets that can buy your time back and assets that you can set you up to be, whether it's location free or time free, and just free is the main keyword, right? To do what you want, when you want, how you want, and not like invest in things that have no real true value or don't align with that. Like if you see now, I got an Apple Watch. Like yeah, I've got a Rolex Presidential. I've got all these different watches. I love watches. I don't even wear them anymore. I love the Apple Watch because this is in alignment with me becoming the best version of myself. It allows me to track my fitness, allows me to track my steps. synchronizes with all the apps for fitness that I have. So everything, and I say all this to say, if you're listening to this, you cannot become truly successful in your life until you become successful in your mind. And now what I believe, which I never did, is also in your body. So your body, your mind, and your business all need to be in unison. So just think about that and like what Dominique said, because that's extremely important. But I want you to talk a little bit about your favorite aspect. Like, we know that you're building it to save time, to have money working for you without you working for it. Something like in The Richest Man of Babylon, they said, where when you earn money, it's a tool that is used to create more revenue. There's soldiers that need to go out and create more wealth, more revenue for you. Talk about your favorite aspect of the business, and maybe blend in what your favorite aspect of working with us was in the AMZ formula.
I think my favorite thing of like in regard to aspect with like just like Amazon is just like, I don't touch any of this inventory. Like I don't have any, it's not in my garage. I'm not drop shipping. Like I know drop shipping's hot right now, and respect to everyone who's grinding and doing well in that, but it's just something that just didn't align with me because it just, I don't want to be feeling like this is another job that I have to do. I like the fact with FBA, it's just like you buy the inventory, it gets to the warehouse, and you're very hands off. And it's almost like, yes, you have to pay costs for the Amazon fees, but it's just like if I had, let's say, 500 units, what if I don't have space in that? What if I'm in an apartment and I don't have space? Like I can't have that. And with FBA, it's just it takes all the thinking out of it. And one thing I really just love with the team is just the communication. I mean, I can call, I can DM you on Instagram. If you don't get to me by the end of the day, you're gonna talk to me at least within the next 48 to 72 hours. So it's like it's never life or death if I can't get a hold of somebody. And if I can't get a hold of you because you're busy or like you're in Europe, I get a hold of Marcel. Marcel always is always. I love Marcel because Marcel like just truly wants me to win, and it's just like it's so rare the fact that like I've met you guys and like I've met you guys physically once, and you guys have so much you guys want me root for me more than people who are around me, and
Mm.
that speaks highly. And it's just like, I'm a very social person, like in the sense of like, I can have friends or I can walk into somewhere and I can come out with friends, but I feel like there's just not a lot of people that like are in my circle that like are like-minded and want me to win, but let alone have been there. And like I want to surround myself with people who have been there, who've had those feelings, who've had those doubts to reassure me. And like that's just one thing I love about your team because, you know, you guys have been through the fire and you guys are just there willing to show me the hand and just guide me through it.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad because we really do care. Our mission, our ministry really is. It's not about making as much money as possible. Like in the education space, it's a lucrative space, and there's usually a singular focus. Like I'm just going to call an ace an ace. The mission as a business owner, as a CEO, and as a company is to be profitable. That's what most businesses are. However, when you really don't need to rely on this to pay the bills, I get the privilege to be able to stand out and really get to know the clients and really make sure that we can do what needs to be done to help the clients win and make it seem like a family. Like within our organization, our culture, and even like for people that follow me, they've often heard when one win, we all win. That's not just something that we take lightly. Like we all, like Eileen, you've met Eileen. Eileen has a successful store. Marcel, you talked about Marcel multiple times. Marcel has a brand that he's building with his girlfriend. So like everybody within our organization like has brands, like believes in the mission statement and really believes in helping everybody within our organization win. Most of the like some of my best friends and some of our like employees or people that work within our organizations, close friends, have actually came from clients and people that came into the ecosystem just because we generally do want to see people win. So that's awesome that you just say that. I know the team's going to hear this and they're going to love that. So Dominique, talk a little bit about your future goals for the brand. Like what are your goals maybe the next 12 months or maybe next 3 to 5 years for the brand? And like, how do you think we can play a role in helping you win even more, man?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, my goal for the next 12 months, I mean, if I'm already at 20K right now, I want to at least hit that 100,
Well, let's go.
so
The
that would
next
be
trophy. Next
the next
trophy on the
trophy.
way.
I'm telling you, I'm about to have the shelf ready for all these awards. So I just 100K would be the next goal of mine, of course, is to continue to scale, but then also too the next 3 to 5 months or 3 to 5 years, excuse me. I would love to, potentially have another product or, have this product be really successful and do an exit strategy, like I'm not gonna give all the sauce because you gotta pay for that. If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. But when you just gave us that blueprint and like your perspective, it just really opened my mind to think of just like you can't just think of the now, you gotta think down the line and what potentially could happen. So I would definitely like to maybe even sell the business just to see if the numbers are looking the way it is. But I could see it's just so crazy. I'm gonna kind of spin off on it, but it's crazy. Like with my product, you guys gave me the team gave me laid out products for me, and you guys showed me my product, and it's alcohol markers, and I'm like, alcohol markers, like what is like? You think is that gonna sell? Like is this a knit? Like I don't even know anyone who draws or colors or does any of that.
Right,
And
right.
then how it's going right now, it's just like everyone everyone who has a kid, a child, an adult, someone colors. And like if you can get just good testimonies on that and just have a good like brand and like circle and like dial in on the product and for the customer, it works out and it's been working well over here. Like
Wow.
I had my first $2,000 days on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and like it
Wow.
just selling like hotcakes. And
Oh.
the only issue now is just getting more inventory. Like that's the
Mm.
only thing that's just worrying me because I'm like I need to make sure I get enough funds to get more because it's just like clearly the 700 units that I bought
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gone in less than 6 5 4 5 6 months. So it's like I might have to double up, and that's gonna be nerve-wracking in a sense. But it's like that's the other side of risk. And if it's already building momentum, we had to cut back on PPC because we were low on inventory. Imagine
Mm.
when we can ramp it up because we have inventory coming in. So it's
That's
just it's just a constant battle of just understanding that like these things are happening for me because I asked for it and now it's here, so I can't back down now.
That's huge, man. And you said you hit on something, and you're like, man, like markers, like what? I don't use markers. I don't see how this is going to work. Why would we launch this product? And like, if you're listening to this and you've tried product research or you've been thinking about getting started and you don't know how to find the right product, like here's a quick hack. Like the most successful products, which you're going to find there are going to be a lot of products, are products that have been selling, products that are selling, and products that will continue to sell. People have been using that product for well over several decades, right? I don't know how long, but probably before I was born, people were still using that product. People are going to use it right now. And even with like iPads, like I got an iPad right here, that I can draw on. And even with the iPad that I can draw on, people still, there's something about physical pen to paper or marker to paper, so on and so forth. So it's not going to go anywhere soon. And like my product, like I've got my product here, like I've never taken a bath in one of these. I have never taken a bath. Like these products and in the industry that I'm in, that's literally have made me a millionaire, I think they're stupid. I've never used them. That's one of the reasons why, like, when you talk about like how our team is and how we really care, like the way that, because a lot of people can say that, but it's one thing to say that and then ethically actually mean it. I came from poverty, dude. Like I was a felon at 18, no high school diploma. I was facing 15 years in prison, multiple felon, no high school diploma. My wife is an immigrant. We both worked minimum wage. We really had no hope, right? We come from a small town, 22,000 people in the population. We were broke. One of my best friends, life for prison. Other friends dying every single year. It's like somebody was dying, someone was going to prison. And I never thought in a million years that I would be where I am or even a fraction of where I am right now. So it's like the goal was to become a millionaire and make a ton of money. And then when you make it, like, because when you don't have it, you feel that it solves everything. But I made a ton of money selling something that I just told you that I don't use and I don't care about, right? So once you have the money, what's left? Like you're left. So it's like, honestly, it is like the AMZ formula is a majority about impact over income. Because when you're in a better position than you ever thought that you would be in, like more doesn't matter. Like I just told you right now, I really don't care about anything. The most important thing to me is my health and vitality. How can I live on this planet as long as humanly possible so I can spend more time with my children and their children in the future? Like that's what means the most to me. So it's huge that you said that because a lot of people they don't think about it like that, right? And when it comes to the product, they're like, I want to find a product that I want to use. I want to find a product that I like or I think is going to work. And I often tell people that the most successful products are products that have been selling, are selling, will continue to sell, and that you have to disconnect from emotional connection and make data-driven decisions, right? It's all around data. And the most, like, all of our clients that are crushing it, they have bizarre products that they don't use. They had the same thought that you had, which is the same thought that a lot of people have when they start the business. So it's huge that you hit on that and how you did that. Just a few more questions, man, and then we're gonna wrap up, dude. I really appreciate like your time. Like this has been super beneficial. I think the listeners are gonna get a lot of value out of this. So talk a little bit about the experience. You talked a little bit about the team, you know, Eileen and Eros and John and Marcel and myself. You talked a little bit about the team. But talk about the experience of the actual program, like behind the scenes for anybody who may be thinking like of starting the business, but not only starting the business, but working with us. Like, how do you feel about the operations and the communications and like experience inside the actual program and the results that you've gotten?
Oh yeah, no, it's super high level. You know, you guys put me into the Discord as well, so the Discord is super good in regard of having resources and asking, and then even too like once I got my store up and running, we started using the platform on Sana. So any questions that I had, you know, we just used that app and it was just for communication. So like
Mm,
I'm a really big communicator. Like I tend to sometimes over communicate, but you know, I just love being kept you know, just kept being kept on tabs, especially during that downtime when it was kind of just a dead zone when there was nothing going on, there was no movement, you know, just being updated every couple of weeks or every other week just to kind of see if there was updates. It's just I'm big on communication and the fact that, you know, you guys would never hesitate and, you know, if there was just a time that, you know, maybe it was like I messaged you guys like on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. You know, you guys would message me probably by Monday morning, which you know, I got to respect at the end of the day. You guys all have lives too. So I just love the communication aspect in the sense of just like, if there's any questions that I need, I can reach out. And, you know, once again, too, like having the access to be friends with you, you being a mentor, like reaching out to you and you giving me game, like that's all I could ask for. Cause I just want people who are willing to help me, if that makes sense.
that's dope. And in terms of like learning and implementation, so like we know you had the drive to get started, you had the motivation to get started, you had the why to get started, you did your due diligence, you found us, you took the initiative, you made it happen, you used the resources, you became resourceful and used those resources to start and grow the business. What about the learning and implementation? Because it's a learning curve. It's something that you knew nothing about. It's a new business model. And then implementing whatever was needed on your behalf. I know you worked with our team and we you know, worked together to do a majority of the stuff for you with the automation. However, like how was that entire learning and implementation stage?
Like I said, even though like the thing is, like, even though my store was automated, I could have just not even paid attention to anything. But instead, I still wanted to learn everything, the ins and the outs. Like, I wanted to learn like, one thing that was also really good too, I know you haven't done it in a while, but those Friday lives on YouTube, that helped me so much because you were able to take time out of your busy schedule to reach out to people for free. So that was me just being able to ask more questions and just be able to get questions quickly and then really too just learning more about just how the whole entire business works. Like I just wanted to learn more about it because I feel like if I just didn't want to get short-ended in a sense of me not knowing the information and like I think you said it or Neo said it, but like your biggest like liability is what you don't know, you know? So it's like I just wanted to make sure, especially if I invested all this money into it, that I was going to know the ins and outs of this business, even if I
Wow.
wasn't even going to be the, you know, the main person handling it. I just want to still know that, you know, this is the right thing. This is what's going. This is what PPC is. This is what marketing is. This is like how the manufacturing is going to be, like all that. Like it's just been it's been a huge process. And like I said, it's been a marathon, but like, I don't regret anything. Timing, all that, like it's just made me realize and appreciate everything that's came along. Whether, because I mean, also too, this I initially wasn't even going to have the markers. My first product was going to be glass containers, like meal prep containers, and then they
Mm,
were just like, "We're going to do an audible. We're going to switch, and we're going to go these markers." And like you said, I could have been like, "No, I don't think that's going to work. This is the way." I wanted to trust the data because it's
mm.
just like why do I want to question the data when the data is right here in front of me? Like I don't know everything. Let me trust the data. Let me trust the team because they're here for a reason. So
That's dope. You gotta trust the process. So it sounds like throughout the entire process from starting, you know, educating, learning everything, acclimating, setting up the business, setting up the entity, setting up the accounts, getting funded, finding the products, doing product research, the supplier, the whole thing. Not only did you grow professionally and the business grow, but you also grew personally. Like you broke through some barriers of maybe belief issues or,
Sure.
self stuff that you had going on. So that's huge often when you can grow not only, financially and from a business aspect, but also from a personal aspect. That's huge as well. And just lastly, like for anybody who's thinking about getting started in the business or thinking about working with, myself or the team, like would you recommend the AMZ formula or working with our team? And if so, like why? Like what if you just had to say maybe one or two reasons why? Like what would those be?
Like in the sense of why they should like join you guys?
Yeah, like would you recommend working with myself or the AMZ formula, the team? And if so, like why? Like if you could record a video talking to yourself when you were getting ready to do all the due diligence and all the research about who to trust or should you even get started with this business model, like what would you say?
One thing that I would say is, first of all, like nothing's gonna work unless you do. You gotta have that strong belief in yourself because other people aren't gonna want it as much as you because it's your business. But then also too, you gotta understand that this team is as established in the sense of it has credibility, it has time. Second of all, they have a great team who wants you to win, like I said in the past, and I've reiterated it. And just lastly, just like the community, like I even have people who I've met from the mastermind that I reach out to and just keep tabs on and just check in with. It's just the community. It's not just it's more. Of course, it's yourself. You want to win, you want to succeed, but also choose the community and just like the whole step by step process. Like you guys don't just bring anybody on. I respect that so much. When I first started. I felt like this was like an interview for a job. There was like 2 to 3 interviews, background checking, making sure like, hey, is this something that you want to do? Because, this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. And you need to understand that, like there's going to be challenges. Are you going to be okay with, maybe not making money the first year? Because I know a lot of people, this COVID money, everything was fast. But are you okay with, understanding that this may take a while? Or are you okay with, like, what's your mindset? Why do you want to work with us? And just like them really asking me the questions and almost kind of putting me on my back foot of like almost thinking of like, why do I want this? Like, it wasn't just like, okay, cool, let me take your money. It was more of just like, we want to make sure we have the right candidates because, at the end of the day, we're partners. And if you're not holding your end of the bargain, then it's just not going to be a good relationship. And, business is all about relationships. It led me to here and it led me to you guys. And, I would just say like, you just got to put the effort in. I know it sounds corny, but it's like, you really have to put the effort in because when you wake up every single morning, no one's going to tell you on the tasks on what you need to do. You need to do it yourself. And like, it's only going to go as fast as you make it. So if you're consistent, you ask questions, and you just trust the process and trust the team because they will have your best interest, then you will succeed. Personally, that's how it's been working for me. And like now, like for me, I've been able to promote and show other people around my areas and my communities about Josh and his team and what it's been working for me. And like I've been ever since been like I try not to post to flex. It's never been my forte. It's been more to show that it's possible. Like I have a hard work ethic because I played college basketball. I played basketball for 19 years. So like for me, it's just like go, 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 go. And once I got to corporate America, it's like it's go, 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 go. But it's just like it's just different. It's hard to explain. Like I don't shame the corporate 9 to 5 because I'm in it and it's what pays me and I appreciate it. But it's definitely one of those things where it's like you can almost not like top out, but it's just like you're only doing what you're supposed to do and like you're not doing a lot for yourself. And if I have the capital and I have the position to do something new and calculated risk, I'm gonna take it. So when I saw that opportunity, I'm just so grateful. Whatever my algorithm was that one day on YouTube that led me to you, I was great. I'm forever grateful because it got me here and it's just showing me to just keep going and just grow. And I'm hoping this next conversation that we have on Zoom, I'm at 100K.
It's not about how, it's about when, man. It's just a matter of time, man. Well, I appreciate you, Dominique, for coming and sharing so much game, man. I just sat back and was even taking notes and just listening because just to really see how far you've come in such a short period of time is just super exciting, and I'm sure reassuring to a lot of people. Like, and I just want like let you know, like it's anything that you put your mind to, you can achieve, right? Like, and that sounds, again, like you mentioned, like for your words, for what you mentioned, corny. However, it's literally, if you become successful in your mind, you can become successful in your life. Like, the enemy is in the inner me. If it's meant to be, it's up to be. That means that you have to take the step, you have to take the initiative, and you have to go all in. And once you're all in, you have to make sure that you hold your ground, right? Tony Robbins says, if you want to take the island to burn the boat. I've been coaching for a long time. I've been in the industry nearly a decade in the digital space with coaching and consulting, one thing and one thing only, which is this, what made me successful, what I believe in and I'm passionate about. And coaching so many people, I've learned over these years, what separates the successors from the failures is once you start, you do not deviate, because there's only two ways that you can fail: by not starting and then by giving up. So with that being said, Dominique, any last words that you want to leave the people with, any tips or gems or anything that you'd like to say as we come to a conclusion?
I got you. It's what my man Joshua Chris says. Success loves speed.
Let's go. Success loves speed. A lot of people overlook such simple things. I like to make success extremely simple. The faster you become successful, the longer you get to enjoy success. And to be completely honest, like we talked a little bit briefly about selling the business and so on and so forth, I'm going back through the stages publicly right now, literally relaunching this brand. Like we just relaunched this brand on Amazon literally 30 days ago. Within 30 days, top 100 in the category, top 10,000 in the space. And I'll pull up the app really quick and see where we're at. I think like we're averaging, yesterday was 130 sales. I don't know if, can this pick up? 130 sales. I'll refresh the screen right now. We're at 91 for the day so far. So here goes some motivation for you. One product, man. The reason why we say you're only one product away, like this one product right now is crushing it. So I'm going back through the system. I'm going back through everything and relaunching everything and going to be documenting the process to help you guys win. Is this showing up?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool, yeah, I just get one more refresh because there's a lot of cap out there.
You see? Hold it up a little.
Oh yeah, my man, look at Dominique. That's the new flex right there. Throw the numbers up. That's the new flex right there.
New flex. Right.
What'd you say?
Let's go.
Higher.
Higher?
Yeah, there you go.
Cool, got it. Yeah, so crushing it, man. And you see, like we were out a couple days, like had some technical difficulties. So even, it doesn't matter where you're at or what stage you're at, there's always going to be difficulties. There's always going to be objections. There's always going to be walls that you hit. There's always going to be technical difficulties. Always going to be something. However, it's how you persevere and how you get through that makes and separates the people who go far or they quit early and they don't go anywhere. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time, man. I know that you're busy. You got a lot going on. You're getting ready to go on vacation. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing your results and sharing your wisdom and everything that you've learned along this way. I appreciate you guys. And you know the rest. You're only one product away.